Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, one and all, to the vidIQ Tuesday channel audit live streams with your host, Mr. Robert Wilson. I do apologize if it is a slightly different time this week. For me, it is still the same time as always, 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. But I know for some of you in Europe, your time zones changed last week. Ours changed this weekend, which means that we're all back in sync for the winter. But yeah, just those couple of weeks at the end of October and a couple of weeks in March, the time zones change a little bit. So I do apologize if we are late or early for you. We are the creator obsessed YouTube education channel, where every single week we invite you into our learning classroom as you get a little bit vulnerable and share your channels for us to critique with our knowledge, wisdom, experience, but most importantly, our passion and enthusiasm. It is week 45 of 2022, which means it's episode 45 of these live streams and episode many numbers since we've been doing this from 2017 onwards. And I couldn't do this without a trusty collection of fellow hosts. And introducing first, as always, he's our resident gaming expert, the host of the Wednesday video reviews. He's been showing off camera his ability now to plug in every single gaming system in existence into live streams. He may do a previous live stream, he may not. I don't know. It's up to the man with a plan, Mr. Dan. How's it going, Dan?
I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan.
Good to hear.
I turned everything off, so that's a lot of pressure you put me under. But hi, everybody.
It's up to you. It's up to you. If you get bored, if we're auditing a Let's Play walkthrough gaming channel, you just turn on a switch.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
whatever you want to do. Introducing next is now kind of becoming our third regular co-host, appearing every single week. He is the coolest man on the live streams with the best t-shirts, the most fantastic sunglasses, and he's the eyebrow-raising Mr. Jeff. How's it going, Jeff?
Doing well, man. How's it going?
Still campaigning to have the thinking emoji face replaced with you. Still working on it. Not sure when that's going to happen, but we'll see if we can get that arranged very soon. And introducing, last but certainly not least, a regular co-host. I think we joked a couple of months ago that they got their SNL 5 appearance smoking jacket. I think we're now up to 10 episodes on this live stream. I don't know what we need to get them for this. Maybe their own special plaque. It is the CIO of Think Media, Miss Heather Torres. How are you doing, Heather? Welcome back to vidIQ once again.
Oh, my favorite guys to hang out with on a Tuesday. This is so much fun. I love getting to hang out. And yes, I want any plaque. You know, I saw that Mr. Beast had like a fake plaque made because YouTube wasn't sending him one for like 50 million. Yeah. We should definitely figure out what the plaque is for being as co-host on this show.
So this is a call out to everybody now in the live chat. If you have any creative skills, Heather requires a 10 appearance vidIQ creation, which she will display the next time she's on this live stream, whenever that is. So Heather, look forward to many weird and wonderful things being sent to a PO box. Probably is probably the safest place to send all of this stuff, not your home address.
Yeah.
I have a question for all of you before we start, and let us know in the chats. This is kind of like the icebreaker to kick us off. YouTube has been pushing out a lot of updates. I was just on the Think Media channel, actually, Heather, this morning, watching Nolan's excellently put together video about the more announcements for YouTube Shorts monetization. So my question to all of you is, what is the feature, updates, etc., that you've been most impressed with or most disappointed with in the last couple of months, whether it be handles, layouts, whatever you want to talk about. And I'll start off with Dan, because I remember we thought about this question before we went live. So you've had a chance to think about this.
There's a lot. The only thing that's sticking out in my mind right now, and I don't even think it's the one I'm most excited about, but it yet to be seen, is the handles update. Because my hope, this is mostly me hoping, is that YouTube handles are going to make it easier to tag people. And, you know, certain social media websites out there are harder to use than others, especially right now. So it'd be really cool to have YouTube kind of step up and make handles something that are really easy to like interact with people, because I can see making something for somebody and using the community tab to go, hey, at Mr. Beast, I made this, you know, come get it. And right now that role has been filled by other social media platforms. So we'll see what handles bring to YouTube.
What about you, Heather?
I have to agree. I'm actually really excited. I was really excited about handles, Dan. But I am loving that YouTube's going to pay Shorts creators. I mean, anytime that a platform, and when we think about this, like, YouTube is its own business, and they're going to pay out billions of dollars to the creators on their platform. That's a good business model. And so I love the idea that as you are creating more and more, and I think that that this is just the first change happening in monetization. I think there will possibly be other changes that'll happen. But I get really excited about the idea that you can make money from being creative on this platform. And I think YouTube really just wants to take over short form content, which will be hard in comparison to other social media, but YouTube's got a lot of money, and they're ready to spend it and really help creators. So I love that they are changing some of those monetization pieces to allow for shorts to be more of a gameplay when it comes to creating a business around your content.
I'm just sharing some comments below. Jeff, anything jump out to you in particular?
Ooh, ambient mode's good, yeah.
Lately, it's been one of the things that I noticed, and actually came up in the app. Now, obviously, there's a lot of good changes. The new homepage layout stuff is really nice. The separation of shorts and live and all that. But one thing that I noticed a couple of weeks ago that popped up was on the Studio app. Now, I don't think you guys will be able to see it here, but I'll give it a try. And it says top tips for thumbnails right there. So if you guys can see if it'll... So I'll try to...
Focus.
Come on, you can do it. You can do it. No, it doesn't want to. That's all right. No worries. But it's got slides, and basically it tells you like what your best thumbnails are, which ones aren't working well, you know, and then also how do they stand out amongst others, which is kind of cool. So, you know, starting seeing more practical tips actually popping up within the app itself, I think is going to be super helpful for creators, especially newer creators that are starting to learn how to optimize for some of those things.
For me, I understand and appreciate the opportunity to make more money with shorts. I feel as if there are quite a lot of caveats that YouTube aren't communicating very well.
Yeah.
Same with creator music. It seems brilliant on the surface, and then when you dig deep into it, oh my word, how complicated is that? So I'm going for just all of the YouTube layout stuff. I think they've been widely and universally praised. I am not seeing many criticisms about them. Those being like the curved thumbnails, Dan said ambient mode, the splitting up of tabs. I mean, that's just really helpful for us doing the live stream. I mean, I don't know, you know, and it just makes the channels look a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
And so YouTube, thank you for doing them, and everybody loves it. So yeah, and thanks for all of your comments on the improvements. And it's just great to see that YouTube have been actively doing a lot of things. Probably, as you say, Heather, in response to TikTok, seeing it as the biggest threat to their dominance in video platform in a decade. That's why we're all here. And yeah, I'm sure you now all want to learn a little bit more about how to improve your channels. And that's what we're going to do for the next couple of hours. If you are new here, do let us know in the chat. And for all of you wonderful regulars, and of course, our amazing moderators, including Tish, Calvin, the Unfindable. Can you remember a few months ago when we couldn't find Calvin as a channel at all? And now he's a moderator. And also, I think Slavgard has also become a moderator recently as well. We are going to show a quick 45 explainer, just in case you missed it as a trailer, to show you how all of these weird and wonderful things work. Welcome to the vidIQ channel reviews live stream. Simply fill in the correct form in the video description and your channel will be considered for review during a live stream. Channel reviews are free, so no need to send us a super chat, and don't spam us in the live chat. We'll ignore it and you may be put in timeout. After the live stream, don't forget to download the vidIQ extension where you can get a custom channel audit, daily ideas, and an AI-powered video title generator. Link is in the description. If you submit your channel for review, expect the following. We are sharing nothing more than our knowledge, experience and passion as fellow creators. Thank you to all of our moderators who help us out on the live stream every week. You know who you are. Give us a like if you enjoy this live stream, subscribe if you love it, and share it with like-minded fellow creators. All right, let's get started. Final bits of housekeeping before we go into the channel audits. We get hundreds, sometimes thousands of channel submissions every single week. So we're oversubscribed. Forgive the pun. We'll do our best to moderate as many, audit as many channels as we can. But the idea here is not really to audit your channel and you get really excited about it, thinking you're going to be on this live stream of a 1 million subscriber channel and you're going to get loads of traffic. That's not the intent of this. The idea is to have a conversation amongst creators and talk about fundamentals, be it channel focus, thumbnails, titles. Whether it's a gaming channel, a beauty channel, a crypto channel, a lot of what we talk about can be applied to your channel, whatever field you're in. So I recommend bringing up your channel on a second screen, if possible, as we talk about the channels that we're about to audit. And with that being said, Heather, Jeff, Dan, should we jump into it?
Yes.
All right, so the first channel we are going to audit today is the channel that submitted first on the non-gaming form, and I'm going to make sure that Jeff chimes in with this one to begin with, because we were looking at this channel before we went live thinking, have they submitted to the right form? So here we go, Jeff. We are looking at Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the opposite storyline.
Yeah, no, it totally had us like, we were like, wait a minute. This is on the regular form, not the gaming form. We saw Pokemon, we thought gaming. But that's one of the things where I was a little confused, and maybe that's part of when I land here. I'm not sure what I'm going to get, so there's a little bit of confusion here. So I'm not sure if this is an animation channel, if this is a reacting to their channel, if this is a Pokemon card game channel. So that's just me. I'm not that familiar with it, so that might be what's going on. But that had a little bit of confusion because I didn't see a very clear what about Pokemon is this channel. Like, there's a lot of different angles you can take with Pokemon, so that's kind of where my confusion came up.
So I think once we moused over some of the thumbnails, it didn't look as if it was coming from a game. It looked like animation itself. Very highly produced animation, it looks like. And then I started to ask the question, PMD, is PMD, that, sorry, Dan, I'm going to use like the resident gamer here. This may still not be in your wheelhouse. Is PMD something that might be searchable?
It's in the name of the channel.
I know.
Oh, searchable. I thought you were trying to discern the definition.
Including PMD in the title.
I don't know. I was thinking about that too. Like, are people searching for it like that, or are they typing in Mystery Dungeon? It's a long name. So I would go 50-50 on that. I think we'd have to do that research and figure out, is PMD the search term you want to go for? Could it be obvious by the thumbnails and the rest of the title what it is? Yeah. Do you even need to put Pokemon Mystery Dungeon or PMD in this? You already have Pikachu and you have the imagery on the thumbnail and, you know, all that. What I'm confused by are like some of the views on these videos for videos that seem to have like no remarkable titles and thumbnails, in my opinion. Right. 14,000 views from one from 2 months ago. Like, I'd be digging into that data. Maybe they share these off-site, but it's very inconsistent for that too. You know what I mean? Like, you would think that then all their videos must get like 10K views if they're going to share them on Facebook or wherever, and they're going to do well.
Not many comments, not many likes for this 14,000 view video.
Yeah, so I'm very confused by that. Like, that's what I'm really hung up on.
So in terms of the video, it looks like a combination of the characters themselves, and then maybe putting characters into the real world, like on the sofa, and then this text alert stuff. It seems like a really intriguing, fresh perspective of content.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cool effect.
I'm wondering, does it need to be Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? Like, it doesn't. I don't know much about that game, but this doesn't feel like a specific Pokemon game animation. It just feels like someone animating Pokemon and telling their own story, regardless of if they're trying to riff off the TV show, off the video games. And I just wonder, like, if Pokemon itself is not recognizable enough. So if you were repitching these videos and you took out the angle of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you would know. I'm not watching the content, so you obviously, as the creator, would know how relevant that is.
Let's bring in Heather for her initial thoughts on this channel. Anything extra to add here?
For me, I was trying to figure out the titling. So I was kind of going down that same road. I would say that, this one's a hard one for me because I'm like, on to what? You're making this content for what? Like, for who? And not even just for who, but like, to do what? Where do you want to go with it? And that's probably just because my brain kind of lives in a content entrepreneur world where I'm like, so I'm fine if this is just a hobby and you want to go that direction, but I want to know, what does this look like for the long run for what you're doing? So a couple things. Yep, you clicked right on it, Rob. I was trying to find it because I was like, what does the about page say? That can be developed out more. This is kind of like your business card to help you with it. But I would say, from just starting in 2021, 35,000 views already. This could go somewhere. I guess I was confused on where. That's what my take on it was. I do like, however, how close up the thumbnails are. I mean, they're definitely very like action shot. I'm seeing a lot of expression from the Pokemon. Is that what it's called? Is this called a Pokemon?
Yeah, Pikachu the Pokemon.
Yeah, so you can see, the expression in the face. The font is not my favorite. It is harder to read. So I would maybe change the font of the thumbnail because it's very blocked lettered together. There's not enough space between those. So I'd maybe just tweak that part of it too. And then you don't actually have to list the episode number on a thumbnail. So you could take that whole thing off of there as well. So those would be just some of my first critiques through a channel like this.
I was going to ask about that specifically. Episode numbers, we would tend to say to not include them, but is this clearly episodic content where you should include the episode numbers? Because to follow the story, it feels more like a traditional television series. Or would you still maybe try and bury the concept of an episode number to just get people in the door, and then they themselves can figure out they need to backtrack a couple of videos to watch episode 1? I'm just curious on thoughts on that.
I think, Rob, they're doing it twice. So either leave it in the thumbnail or put it in the title. But I think that is where they're using it too many times. So 2 is too many. So one or the other. And you could even make it shorter instead of saying ep. If you wanted to keep it in the title, it could be like ep number 7. It doesn't have to be written out like a full title, or you actually keep it in the thumbnail and take it out of the title.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're looking for the opposite storyline, because I think that was going to be my next thing. Is the opposite storylines obviously a series they're doing. And I guess where the Mystery Dungeon thing comes in is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon must have a story, and they're telling the opposite version of it.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is, like, your titles, though, to somebody who doesn't really get what you're doing yet, because they're not your normal viewers, the titles are, all the real estate is taken up by this block of text that to think about. PMD, the opposite storyline. So they have to know what PMD means, and then they have to understand enough about you and what you're doing to know that you're very specifically telling a story that is counter to the one people know. And then you take that interesting bit and you bury it to the point in the title where it gets cut off. So I would be restructuring these titles altogether and taking the opposite storyline. I would consider that like the name of your podcast, for example. Like, if you have a podcast and there's a very specific name, you don't need to put the name of your podcast in the video. Your video should be about what the episode is about. And that applies here too.
Yeah, I was thinking the alternate universe might be a better way to phrase the opposite storyline as well. I've never thought of something described as the opposite storyline. But another title and consideration there, if I put in a search PMD, the opposite storyline, and you're ranking for everything, it's kind of a problem in itself, in that you're ranking for something that's nobody else uses on YouTube. So it's probably not a heavily searched term.
Yeah.
So we have a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon there, the opposite storyline. A channel based on a video game, but not actually a gaming channel. That's what we'll move on to next. We are going to look at a gaming channel. The first one that's submitted in the forms. Do make sure to fill them out to be randomly selected later on. Triloms is this one, Dan. 2,000 subscriber plus. Minecraft channel, but I think they've got the thumbnails on point, which is 80% of a battle for most Minecraft channels, I would say. These are different, these are fresh, these are jumping out of a page. They just look so clean and fresh on the video tab.
Could we scroll up just a little bit?
Yeah.
And click on the Shorts channel that they've linked there.
Yeah.
I might get a soapbox out in a second. Let's see. So Shorts channel, some of their shorts took off too. Okay. Now they didn't submit their Shorts channel, so I'm not necessarily here to audit that.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is that the advice when Shorts first came around was, hey, maybe you should put these in a separate channel. We don't know what the heck they're going to do long form videos, blah, 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 blah. Just in case this creator wasn't aware, YouTube has recently said that they're trying to bridge that gap now. So if someone watches your Shorts, they have a really good chance of being recommended your long form content. And now that YouTube has taken your channel page and broken it out into the different types of content you make, it's even easier to do Shorts on the same channel as your long form content, and it can only benefit you in the end, as long as the Shorts are similar to your longs. And it looks like that is the case when we go to the Shorts channel. So maybe you still upload there, maybe you don't, maybe you're thinking about it. Just wanted to throw that out there. You can maybe merge those two if you're looking to grow that subscriber number, grow that regular base of like returning viewers that watch all your stuff. Now it's never been a better time. That aside, I do like these thumbnails. I do like the concepts in these videos. And they're definitely taking a lot of the advice we're constantly out there giving to Minecraft channels. You know, you got to start out making things that are really clear, of value to people who play Minecraft. They're making these farms. They're showing the results. I think even though we like these thumbnails, I think I would like to see them even better. I think one mistake they're making, especially the ones from a few months ago, is the XP farm inventory box that shows all the loot from that XP farm. It's so tiny in some of these. And the way to do that is to actually make it larger and make it take up like a big chunk of the thumbnail. You know, you don't need to see the inventory from top to bottom. You just need to see enough iron ingots or gunpowder or whatever to demonstrate, oh, that's a lot. I get it now. And you're doing that a little bit better in the latest thumbnails, but I think you can make it even larger. I think it should take up almost half the thumbnail. And then on the left side of this latest one, that machine is really hard to look at. I don't know what it is. It's just so many things. And I get you're trying to say this thing produced these results. But glitching carpet, I would have just put a carpet on the ground. You know, you can show the device once you get into the video. You just want these to be easier on the eyes. Like the pumpkin one. The pumpkin one's very obvious what you're trying to do there. It's very clean. It's very nice. Great thumbnail. And the one before that, the 10 Halloween build ideas, great idea, great thumbnail. So you're really, really, really close with these. I think it's just like keep tweaking these. That's my initial thoughts there. Oh, look at that. They got some hits too from just a few months ago.
Yeah, I was just sorting by most popular there to see what was going on. Do you think it's worth maybe watching the first 15 seconds of one of these just to get an idea of how?
Yeah,
I feel as if the thumbnails and the titles are generally inviting. So my question is, why are they not getting more traction? It could be cadence. You know, with a Minecraft channel, they're posting once or twice a week, which in the Minecraft world is actually quite infrequent.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check out. Sorry, go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
I was going to say just about the thumbnails. That kelp farm is a good example of what I'm talking about. You said kelp farm in the text, but those green, like there's a lot of items in Minecraft that look like that green. Like the first thing that comes to mind is slime. So you say it's kelp, but it's so small. You could have just taken that box and made it larger. So it only shows maybe like 4 to 6 kelps in there, but at least visually people are like, that's kelp. They don't have to read kelp. They don't have to think about it too hard. Oh, that's a lot of kelp, and I need a lot of kelp, and I'm going to watch this video. But I'm just saying, you're not wrong. The thumbnails are inviting. I just think they can continue to level up.
If you want a drinking game, rewind 1 minute, however many times Dan says the word kelp, take a shot.
Good luck.
Kelp farm in Minecraft. This farm produces nearly 500 dried kelp per hour, and you can also get XP by flickering the lever and collecting the dried kelp. And here are the materials you will need.
Did you hear that first of all?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, okay. That felt like a good, quick throwing you straight into the intent of a video. Felt
Yeah,
well
14
edited.
seconds, right? Less than 14 seconds.
Yeah,
So
I felt that was a very good start to the video. So I feel as if the quality of the thumbnails goes into the videos as well.
Yeah, my only question, and this could throw a wrench into all their plans. My only question is, did they perhaps make this a little too short? It's a pretty
Oh,
big farm,
right?
and I kind of wonder because it seems like they're doing a really good job with intros. They're doing a good job with thumbnails. They're showing, you know, obviously how to make something that's as a value to a new player. It looks like they're taking you through it at a pretty good pace. So yeah, I mean, there was enough there where it showed what to put where, and then it was like do this and repeat ad infinitum. You know, you see just how much repetition is in this build. So maybe you don't need 10 minutes to demonstrate this. I don't know. It was just a thought. I'm just really trying to figure out why these videos aren't doing better. The only other thing I could think of is maybe they need more time.
Yeah,
and perhaps it's you know, is a kelp farm. I haven't played Minecraft in a long time. Is a kelp farm super beneficial to the players? Could there be things like carpet duper? Are carpets being like having infinite carpets in survival mode? Like, is that something players really need? You know, there's a lot of items in Minecraft that need to be farmed, and it's cool that you can do that with carpets. Do they need that though? And the answer might be maybe, and maybe that video does well over time, like some of these have. But that's what I'd be asking too, is like, that's part of this too, is like figuring out what a beginner level Minecrafter needs. Someone who got past the initial learning phase, and then they're like, okay, I need a lot of slime. And now they're looking on YouTube to figure out how to get it.
Lots of information there for Trillums. I tend to feel, Dan, like many of the fundamentals seem to be in place here.
Oh yeah.
Just waiting for that one of those videos to really pop, and then capitalizing on the success and format of that video.
They just got to stay on the grind.
Yeah.
They got to stay the course.
Definitely one of the more advanced Minecraft channels we've seen on these audits as of late.
Going to say exactly the same thing. So thank you, Dan. All right, let's move on to the next channel. And I think, Heather, you picked Lucky Aces Riding, motorcycle tips, 170 subscribers. What have we got here?
Yeah. I picked this one for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's a really good niche. So just thinking about when you want to start a YouTube channel, watching a few of his videos, I definitely know that he just got this motorcycle. So he's had it for about 2 years. And he is a beginner rider, but he started his YouTube channel in May of this year. And already at 169 subscribers, 36,000 views on the channel. So congratulations. I know exactly what I'm going to get. I think that's one thing that I love about seeing a channel like this is I'm like, okay, motorcycle tips, tricks, and moto vlogs. And I did not know that this was a thing, but this is a thing in the motorcycle world, is to, people love watching other people riding their bikes, like cruising. What does the view look like? You know, is this a good place to take my bike? And a couple things already that I love. I love the boldness in the thumbnails of these videos. He's definitely going into the exact bike that he has. So he's sharing the Honda Shadow 750 Aero and using that in his title several times, which I think is great in building up what your channel is about, meaning that you're really about this bike, and it's not just about the rides, but you're doing a walkthrough and things like that. So I think that's a really good start for this channel. And then I would also say that the consistency has increased over the last several months in seeing what he's been posting. So that's pretty good. I will say though that some of them feel kind of short, like he's within that 7 minutes, 3 minutes. And for something like this, I think you actually could extend it out. I mean, if someone's interested in watching the full ride, maybe you could combine 2 rides together or something like that, where you're actually doing content marathons, because knowing just from interest in my own life of watching things like this, I put it on my TV and it just goes. And that's what's great about these types of things, is you can be getting watch time over and over. I would say a couple things. I saw that you're starting to do some of the shorts content. So you're already starting in the shorts content. And right now there's nothing that's showing me more than just the handlebars. So I would love if there was maybe you do have like the one that you first did, cold start, no baffles. You know, more and more people are watching these types of things without any sound. So knowing what they're going to read or what it's about can be helpful. So I would be adding some text on the screen, just like you did on this one, to be able to help people know what they're actually going to be viewing. So I think that's one thing for you. And then secondly, I would say I would do some research on vidIQ of all of the Hondo Shadow RO 750 videos that you could make. And you could make a ton of them. I typed it into the Google search bar alone. And it was like walkthrough, a year later, muffler. Like there's all these things you could be making videos about when you get to the 750. And you should make all of these. That's what I want you to do, is make all of these videos. And then I would go a little bit broader into actual motorcycle tips. So if you've been motorcycling now for a year, what did you learn as a beginner, right? What were some of the things that you learned that you needed to do? But all in all, I would say this is a great starter channel. And this channel has a lot of potential to, one, earn money, and two, become a true business out of just this channel alone.
That is the perfect blueprint for the channel. I had a question about the thumbnails in terms of a text. What I like about the text is that it's very clear, easy to read, but I think it dominates the thumbnails too much in terms of placement. This one in particular, I think the text here just draws me away from the fact that you're trying to show that you were maybe in an accident or like you're lying prone. Like I don't even notice that because of the text. We've also got the logo in the bottom corner. I would say this channel already has enough sort of branding consistency in the style of their thumbnails that they probably don't need that.
Yeah.
So yeah, tinkering with the text. I think having text in the thumbnails is fine, but how could you better place this text so it doesn't cover the visor of a
placement is it's a tough road to learn. It takes time to kind of really figure that out and nail it. And there's ways that you can kind of get around it sometimes, where you can stick certain parts of the letters behind things, if you learn how to layer the photos and stuff. But to your point, the one that says cruisers are cool, the cool covers up the entire cruiser. So it's one of those things where we're kind of getting lost in the weeds there. We are doing a really good job, and I want to credit that. Also, the fact that they're not using the exact same text in the thumbnails they are in the title, want to credit that as well. But yeah, just kind of figuring those, trying to find that balance, I think can help. So I definitely keep playing around with that. But yeah, it's looking pretty good so far, though. Yeah,
some good stuff there. And an interesting observation with the video length as well, Heather. I didn't spot that. And then I'm suddenly thinking, yeah, most blogs tend to be like of the 8-minute plus range, because there's likely to be some form of story being told that you kind of tease at the beginning, and you can hold that throughout the telling of a story. But like if you're only videoing for 2-4 minutes, you don't have that time to maybe build up the suspense and add sort of layers to that story. So some longer videos may definitely be worth testing as well. So that's Lucky Aces Riding. And yeah, folks, if you are enjoying this live stream, then do let us know through the appreciation of a like and a emoji of your choice, as we get to know Heather a little bit more, because she is a fundamental member of the Think Media crew, our long-time partners. We've now surpassed 2 million subscribers. So I don't know, Heather, if you need to get another gold plaque to support your 10 appearances vidIQ live stream plaque that you'll get next time. But yeah, just tell us a little bit more about what Think Media does and what you're currently working on with your students or your client. What do you call your customers, clients?
Yeah, we call them members.
Members,
yeah. Or, they're part of the family. So we call them the VRA fam. So we've got a couple different names. We're still working on what our big community is called. People call us thinkers or the Think crew, but we haven't really gotten that far.
I say Think Meteorites, don't I?
Think
Sometimes
Meteorites is what Rob calls us. Yes. And what's funny enough is look like Omar, Nolan, Sean dominating the last couple videos over here on the
Yeah.
channel. I need to get more
You
videos
do.
out. But no, we want to help you with the best tips and tools to grow your business online, especially through your YouTube channel. And so we're a team of creators, just like here at vidIQ, which if you're doing a YouTube channel, it's great to have a team. That's always helpful. But we want to just help you with learning how to do YouTube right. And we want to help you with that learning curve. And so one of the ways we're doing that is we are offering a free class. And you can go to thinkmasterclass.com, where Sean's going to be sharing how he used one strategy to generate over 122,000 views per day on a video. He breaks that down and kind of a behind the scenes video. And you can go and stream that class anytime right now at thinkmasterclass.com.
I am just putting that link. It's a different link, but hopefully it will work. courses.seancannell.com/all sorts. But I've just taken a link from here, Heather, so that should work.
All the long ones, that works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, do check it out. And I always like the word free in any course or service that's offered. So yeah, do check that out. And we'll move on to our next channel, which I think is the one that I selected pre-live stream. It's called Emma's Craft Corner. They have 65 subscribers. New videos, they promise, every Sunday. Jeff, why don't you just kick us off here on what you think this channel is about and where they are on their journey?
Well, I'm going to assume that they're knitting. Even though, it's Emma's Craft Corner, they might get into other types of crafting possibly. But just from the top 4, at least the last 4 videos they've done, have literally been about knitting. So it looks like one's Emma's Knitting Podcast, Discovering My Old Knits, Knitting My Dream Wardrobe. Nice. Come to a yard fair. Well, a yarn fair. Nice. All right, cool. So that's like that's a vlog there too. All right, pretty dope. So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that's kind of what we're going to get from them. I think one of the things, text on the thumbnails here, come to a yarn fair. I was able to read that. The font's a little funky, but then they have with me in tiny little writing under fair. So that's one of the things where I would just we don't need that. Just can't, you're not gonna be able to read it anyway, so there's no point in including it. But I'm kind of interested in sort of what they're showing here, or are they showing us techniques? Is this how to, or just kind of in general about knitting? So pattern tools.
Good question. It doesn't feel, just from the video length, it doesn't necessarily feel like a tutorials or guide.
No, not at all.
Which is fine. I mean, like if you can get, if you're a YouTube channel that has 10 videos and you're getting people to watch for 10 minutes plus on these videos, I think that is phenomenal. And I'm not going to encourage you to make shorter videos, just to try and reach the search algorithm, which is what a lot of smaller channels tend to do. Yeah,
no, for sure. So, I mean, there's tons of opportunities here. It looks like they're still fairly new to this as well, because 2 months ago and not that many videos on the channel yet, which is pretty interesting. So they're just getting started, which is nice. With 65 subscribers for that short amount of time, still pretty good. So
and the view counts,
no doubt about that.
All view counts more than subscribers.
Yeah, I would have loved, like, if I had 65 subscribers and getting 100 views in 2 days, I would have been over the moon, because I was getting, at 65 subscribers, I was getting lucky to get 15 views on a video. So, and 5 of those were at least mine.
Dan, Heather, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm seeing some really, really encouraging stuff here. I think thumbnails are in a good place. Sometimes the text is a bit hard to read. That was one thing, but otherwise it's looking pretty good. More videos would make our lives a little bit easier, I suppose.
It sounds obvious. It sounds obvious, Dan, doesn't it? But we're kind of saying, you've got all of the fundamentals right. You've made a great start. Now it's a case of you're making quality content. Can you add volume to that? We're not saying we're not saying that you just make more videos for the sake of it, but in 3 months' time, we're hoping that you're going to hit 100 subscribers. In 6 months' time, you may be hitting 300, 400, and by the end of the year, we'll maybe hope at the current pace, you're going to be well into 1,000 subscribers and monetizing the channel.
Yeah. And they can get into some good evergreen stuff as well if they chose, because that stuff can be good in multiple fronts. Pull in subscribers, get a ton of views, help people along the way, easily monetizable through affiliate links. So there's a lot of opportunities in this niche. I've spoken with channels that are higher up doing the same kind of stuff and doing super well, very lucrative. Not the biggest numbers, but speaking to some channels that were on 30, 40,000 subscribers, and they were making lots of cash, which I was really, really, really impressed by, and helping a ton of people along the way.
I was going to say, do the videos that are labeled podcast, do they need to be labeled podcast? Or could they be just presented as videos? And it just so happens that they're also podcasts, and you repurpose them as podcasts. But yeah, I finally finished it. Emma's Knitting Podcast, episode 3. I think there's an opportunity here for your title to be a lot more intriguing, a lot more informative to people who enjoy watching knitting content, maybe trying to learn a thing or two. And it could still be the story about how you were working on something and you finally finished it, but it's just pitched in a different way. It's just for reaching a broader audience, because it's kind of irrelevant whether or not you consider this a podcast versus a vlog. I think the viewers don't really care either way. In fact, people who don't like to watch podcasts on YouTube might be turned off by it. They'll be like, I don't really want to watch podcasts. It sounds kind of like a long endeavor. And podcast episode 3, like now I need to be like in your whole ecosystem here to like get to know you and be invested. But there's probably a lot of value in there, and it needs to just be kind of pitched for them to be more open to clicking on it.
So I'm looking at the description. I'm not seeing any leveraging of business opportunities yet. Still very early on in the channel's phase, but Heather, I'm sure you'd be more than happy to drop a couple of hints on where this creator might be able to start on such a thing.
A couple things. Whenever you're doing anything, whenever you're making anything or DIY or anything like that, I think, Emma, that you are beautiful, and I love seeing you first on camera, but actually I'm there for that. That's what I'm there for right there. This whole thing that's coming up on screen right now, I want to see the after. I want to see what I'm going to get. And you see this a lot. Like if you were to watch, let's say like HGTV, you're hit right away with the drama of the fridge broke, or are they going to be able to make the renovation period, like going from this to that, and just having those visual aspects at the very beginning. You can still be talking, but you can maybe show and tell at the same time. That because it is a knitting channel and it's all about the product that you're going to serve, that's what I would say for that. And then also what's great about a site like this is one, you could be affiliate for Skillshare courses. You could be an affiliate for Amazon. You could sign up as an affiliate for Joann's Fabric. I mean, there's so many things you could start to apply for and see if you could become a partner of those different companies. And I would go on other knitting channels and see what are they doing right now, especially around the holidays, for people who are interested in purchasing for people who are crafters and knitters. I remember last year I wanted to get my husband something for golf, and I literally went to YouTube and I was like, best presents for avid golfers, because I didn't know what to get him, but these golfers told me exactly what to buy him. So you could be thinking about your audience too as well. What should they be buying for the holidays, or what does that look like in terms of being able to make some money off of the type of content that you're creating, because it is something that is tangible, that people actually need to buy products in order to create the product.
Now, I was running through a couple of videos here because I think there are some relatively simple video improvements we can suggest. Starting with, I think you're looking at the viewfinder.
Yes.
I don't think you're looking at the lens, which is a little distracting. So try to remember in future. Maybe you want to hide the viewfinder, get the frame set up and then just look into that lens. And then I think there's opportunities here with the background. And I say this because your thumbnails always, like Jeff, when you first came into this channel, you instinctively knew that it was a knitting channel. But then you click on the thumbnails, the videos themselves, and it's just this bland background. So how can you start to do a little bit of set dressing? It may just be as simple as sticking some balls of yarn to the wall for the time being until you can improve it in some way. But, I would just like a little bit more flavor and color to your videos, especially as, Heather, you were saying, there's a lot of this just talking head where they're not even showing a product. And that's fine to a certain extent, but like just adding some color to videos would be great. And I guess the last final thing is, if I unmute it,
that acrylic isn't that great for.
Okay, so
getting
the audio's pretty good.
but
That
I've
sounds
already
fine.
started this.
So that doesn't need to be fixed.
Yeah.
So those were just some video critiques. And why am I giving a brief number of video critiques? It's because, Dan.
Yes, we'll be doing more of that tomorrow. Today, we're really focused on titles, thumbnails, getting people into your videos. Tomorrow, we're going to be trying to focus on keeping them in your videos. So those are the types of tips you'll be getting for tomorrow's live stream. Similar to today, you're going to be able to submit your channel. It could be randomly picked. So check it out.
Yeah, that is basically 24 hours from right now. Next channel we're going to look at is Sound Waves ASMR.
South Waves.
Sorry, South Waves. Thank you, Jeff, for correcting me. South Waves ASMR. Now that just makes it sound like an airline, South Waves.
Yeah, it does.
Anyway, Heather, I think this is the one that you picked. Am I right?
It is. And I randomly picked this one. I was so excited because these types of channels are just exploding right now. And I think it's really awesome to show that you can have a channel on YouTube where you don't have to show your face. You don't have to create something from nothing. You can take something like river flowing sounds for 3 hours, put a beautiful video around that, and you could be creating content for an audience. Now, this is a views play channel. So you got to get lots of views for a channel like this to start earning money. However, there are channels that are earning $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month because of the amount of views that they're able to get. So a couple things that we could change. I don't think you have to have branding in thumbnails. There's a lot of words on these thumbnails too as you go back. The newer ones, not so much, but the older ones had more on there. And I would, right now, I can tell that you're trying different styles to see what's going to stick, right? And so going back to what works, when you see these types of channels, they usually find one or two that really pop off, right? Like one or two design or one or two themes that really pop off. And it seems like for you, you had about two so far that have really popped off: light snow sounds and waterfall in the forest sounds. So those ones, I would make like 5 more of each of those and see if that actually could work for you on a long game play, because if they're willing to watch one, they may be willing to watch other ones. And I would actually, what I like about this too is they're both longer than an hour. They're an hour. The next one's 3 hours. You could play around with that. Maybe do light snowfall sounds for 2 hours. Maybe do waterfall in the forest for 1 hour and see if that actually ends up playing into changing up the time and what that looks like. I do like that you have that on the thumbnail, but you're repeating yourself. So the thumbnail and the title have the same words in it, right? It's 3 hours of that waterfall, or it says it in the actual thumbnail itself. I don't think that has to happen. And people are searching specifically for, like you said, for work, study, and meditate. People are actually typing that in though. So that actually should be in your title, maybe not on your thumbnail. If you're trying to hit people that are trying to study, if you're trying to hit people that are trying to see, it says like waterfall sounds for meditation, waterfall sounds for studying, waterfall sounds for sleeping, waterfall sounds for reading, because people are going at it from their personal pain point. So you actually creating videos around personal pain points to what you're actually creating them for could be a play to move this channel forward. I think these types of channels are going to only get more and more popular because of how we consume and how we do things now. And so I think this is a really cool idea to get started on. And I love what you're doing. Anyone else want to jump into this one? Nope,
let's not all
me?
chat at the same time.
Great.
let's not all jump on at once. But
do you guys listen to these channels, Jeff, Dan?
Sometimes. So for me personally, I'm not in this genre, but I know people personally who like the black screen stuff. Like when that started popping up about 2 years ago, and really took off during the pandemic. They were really big into that because they would have it on their phone, things of that nature, or they would put it on their TV and have it come, like if they have a TV in their bedroom, they would have it go that way, that route. For myself, I listen to something a little bit different, but it can work. The drawback here is really the experimentation phase, because you have to try to figure out what is going to work, whether it's the black screen, whether it's the waterfall, whether it's the river, and then also the length. Some people want the half hour or the 1 hour, the 3 hours. I've seen them going as far as 10, 12, or longer, which is wild, but they do that. Like some people want to have something that gets them through an entire night's sleep. So really playing around with that, that's going to be the key. And it looks like they don't have a problem doing that. Look how many videos they've uploaded in just the past week.
Yep.
So they're really getting after it. I like where they're going with this, which is pretty interesting. But I think there's just not enough data for them yet, because I don't know how long they've been uploading for, but a lot of these videos aren't pulling a ton of views yet. So it's kind of hard to say which ones work better than others.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
it looks like since May, and
5 months.
38 videos uploaded in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
I wanted to put you on the spot a little bit here with a question, Heather, because you mentioned that these types of channels are blowing up. And I would say one of the reasons why these types of channels are blowing up is because, relatively speaking, there's a low barrier to entry in the terms of find some stock footage, find the right sound, put those two together, and you effectively have a video. So we're seeing a lot of these channels in this area, many faceless topics channels can get saturated very, very quickly. Now, you have kind of answered this question in that you need to find your little corner, your little patch to really put your ASMR flag in the ground and say, I'm going to do snowfall only ASMR videos. But is there anything else you can maybe extend on that? I'm sorry, I probably kind of half answered the question there when I asked you it.
Yeah, I mean, I think with these channels, you do have to figure out your place. Like you do have to figure out, like, not your place, but people will come. It's not even that people will come back over and over. It's that your other videos will be put in suggestions for those people. So this, to me, this is a low barrier to entry. This is a big views play, and this is getting pulled into browsed and suggested features. So that's really the play for something like this type of channel. And I would even say the reason that these channels, like you said, the reason that a lot of channels like this are really popping off is because they are lower barrier to entry. But for being someone who's into this genre of this type, that I'm doing a lot of studying on it, when you figure out your, like, there's this one channel I watch only for beach waves. I put it on my TV, and it's the only one because I love that he adds more of the bass of it versus it being so much of just I think it's the treble. I'm not really good at the music thing, but there's different levels that you can hear in the waves. I like his waves because of that particular thing, and I will watch it over and over and over, and I'll keep it on my TV or in my room. And so just being someone who's been studying this a lot, you do have to figure out what makes you different. It's the same thing as any channel. You still have to go through the same questions. Who are you after? What is your value proposition? How are you going to serve them over and over? Why should they click? Why should they watch? And if you can go through that category, then you can start to break out in these types of videos. And a lot of times people will have these channels, but they'll have like 6 of them. Usually it's not just one. Usually they have like 6 of these because it is a low click, or it's a low payment per views. Like it's not like you're going to get, it's not the same as the content we're creating, which is more of a higher CPM because it's for the type of ads that'll be on it and what that looks like in the long run. But this is a longer view play versus like the content we're creating.
Well fended.
Here for it.
Can we take a quick peek at their shorts?
Oh, I didn't even go there, Dan.
I'm just trying to think what could a channel like this possibly do with shorts? Because I don't know if that's for that kind of audience. So I'm just kind of curious.
15-second mindfulness, 30-second take a break. Like
breath work. They could do like breath work.
So not doing this, saying, hey, go and watch the 3-hour version.
No.
Have
if someone is in, you have to think about the actual person watching shorts. What is their mindset? Their mindset is they're in scroll mode. They're probably zoned out. Usually, I mean, we're watching shorts, but we're really kind of zoned as we're watching what's happening. We're getting hit with a lot of data at one time. Our brain is firing like crazy. So if you could interrupt that pattern with, like you said, Jeff, 5-second breathe in, breathe out, like structured content, That's what I would use that for. But as an ad, I actually am totally against shorts just being an ad for your long form content.
Yep.
That's what commercials are. That's not what shorts are.
Yeah. I got hit with one on TikTok a few days ago where it was like, hey, stop what you're doing and breathe with me for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then the clock started and they closed their eyes and they started breathing. And then there was a countdown clock and then it says, hey, don't you feel better? All right, keep scrolling. I was like, yo, that's pretty dope.
That's good. And
thinking
if
we
you
should
stay
do
on
that
that,
with,
and then what if you went back and watched that, and then now that you're getting served up more shorts, again, this is a browse feed. This is a suggested content play.
I like that idea, Jeff. I think for one of our shots, we're going to say, hey, if you're a creator, stop scrolling for a second. We just want to let you know we're creators ourselves, and we know the grind. You're doing an excellent job. Your audience loves you. Thanks for watching. Scroll on. Something like that. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, don't let Savage get a hold of that though.
Very true. Very true. All right, then. Just to let you know, folks, I was polite earlier on asking you to like the live stream, but I see that we've got nearly 900 people watching and only 600 likes. So this is a more of an aggressive, please like this live stream now or face the consequences. Thank you. Thank you very much. Whose sound effect was that?
That was me. I thought you'd want some dramatic.
That sounded terrible, man.
The fact that Dan has that ready to go, that is the best.
All right, then.
Just
next channel we're going to
dramatic
audit. Domino Bros. 240. Stop it. All right. Compose yourself, Wilson. Compose yourself. Right. Dan, you picked this channel.
Yeah.
Talk us through it.
So I saw a channel that was doing really, really cool builds with dominoes. You can barely hear it. It's just like weird. I'm like, what is that? They're doing these really cool builds with dominoes, and obviously a lot of talent here with what they're putting together. But I wanted to basically just draw their attention to the people in this space that are doing what they're doing, but just with their titles and thumbnails that are just kind of cranked to 11. Because this is one of those channels that's like who they're competing with. You know, there's an audience for this content, and I like the consistency, but it definitely needs to be, compared to
them here.
Do you like Domino's Mario? Yeah. So this is kind of what you're up against. And I'm not like, what you're building is impressive. You don't have to do this, but look at these thumbnails and look how, look how much detail there is. And you see that it's dominoes and you're like, what? I'm not asking you to compete with Mark Rober, but the pictures we were seeing on the channel we were looking at, there's a lot of this busy floor texture on the ground. They're wood floor, although it looks nice.
I see. I'm with you. Yeah.
They're very, very busy. The dominoes are kind of zoomed out at weird angles, and they're not very well lit, especially like the latest ones. Like they're just kind of dark and underexposed. So those are the make or break things, I think, with channels like this. Of course, it's not just that, it's the builds themselves. But I think in terms of their talent, their domino building talent, I can see it. I can see that they know what they're doing, and that's great. Like, a lot of creators, I think, need to be in the position this channel's in. They are good at something, but it's not yet YouTube. They're still working on the YouTube skills, but they're really, really good at other skills. And that is okay. I think a lot of people, we find channels that approach it from the opposite. They're like, I want to be like the best YouTuber, but they haven't exactly decided what they're going to make videos about yet. They haven't picked that skill, that thing that they want to develop, they want to get really good at. This person has that skill. It's now time to brush up on the YouTube side of things.
Whoa, we don't want to see this intro, really, do we?
It's quite long.
Well, are they describing this before they? Oh no, okay.
This is so satisfying, though. I love dominoes.
I wouldn't have a patience to build this and then like one domino that you misplace and it just sets everything off. But oh yeah, that's so visually satisfying.
Yeah. See, I like the multiple angles too. I was going to say there's a lot of places you can bring this content, like multiple angles, and they already got it.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
But
tracking it round.
I like the tracking. I think more lighting, though. That's another future change I would be making.
Now, is this necessary? Surely your So the video ended there.
Yeah.
And we've got another 20 seconds, which
I think one slap of the subscribe button should have ended the video. If you're going to do it at all, literally end it on the hand making contact with the subscribe button one time, and that's kind of funny. But just continuing to do it every single time the hand hit, it made it look just a little more desperate. Like, please, no, please, I don't want to get off this yet. You really gotta.
great
Shorts.
to see you're doing shorts.
Yeah, this is great.
This is good stuff. The fact that you're mixing both long form and shorts, and importantly, the long form content is still relatively short. You're not trying to go into 8-minute epics. You're appreciating the viewers' probable attention span, even in your long form content. So that's excellent as well.
I like the card dominoes too.
Nice,
That's at the top there, and then here too. So, what else can you turn into dominoes?
You probably add some, some popular YouTube sound to that. Just to add a bit more pace to it, because there was a bit of a pause before it started.
Yeah, some YouTube content library music would be great.
Oh, what happened there? Oh, that was my video playback.
Nice.
I think they're doing really cool stuff with shorts.
I do. Yeah. Very good.
I would keep doing shorts no matter what.
Now, do we think that they could potentially start doing themed stuff? Like you could build a giant domino turkey for Thanksgiving. Christmas is coming up. Wakanda Forever being released this weekend. There are, because we searched for Mario dominoes specifically. Again, the skill set is improving. That might be something to think about going forward.
Yeah. Always good to do different pop culture references, things like that, just things that are trending right now. And channels like this that can make imagery out of the things they do have that unique opportunity. Like any topic that's trending, you can make dominoes out of. Twitter. Twitter's right now in the news a lot. So you could make the Twitter bird, do a big metaphor of it falling over. So, yeah.
I will give the final words to Heather and Jeff if you have any more to add.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Sorry, my unmute was not working there for a sec. I was like, what the heck is going on here? But yeah, no, I agree. If there's a way that they could bring in some of their favorite stuff, especially if it's things that are trending, then definitely go for it. If they're not into Marvel, all good, no worries. But if they're into Minecraft, or if they're into Lego, or if they're into other things, then please try to take advantage of that if possible. Especially timing is super important on some of this stuff. So if you can take advantage of that quickly, some of the things I keep trying to teach some of my fellow creators who are in my circle of tech creators, the timing is incredibly important for videos. So if you can do that and take advantage of it, it can help some of these videos take off a little bit more, get some extra views and garner some additional eyes to your content.
Yep, I'm on the trending. I'm like, I don't know if I can add anything else because you guys did such a good job. Yeah, I think trending content. I think shorts for this. I'm so enthralled. I want to watch all of these. I love.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, that is Domino Bros, and we are just coming up to the top of the hour, which can only mean one thing. We've timed this almost perfectly for once. It's a little bit of this. I found the button. All right, so we are
hanging for a second there.
Sorry, we're onto the claw, and oh my goodness, we have had 658 submissions.
Ooh.
Non-gaming, 619 gaming, but we will try our best to pick some channels for random auditing. And this is how it works. We have our claw here. Jeff, if you could give us the famous words, please.
The claw.
It picks out a number, and we put our number into our selection tool. And now this time we are auditing channels. We've not had any prior experience with them. We're visiting the channel for the first time. Do we know if we're in the right place? I can now tell whether it's a long form or a shorts channel or a live stream channel, which is really going to help us going forward. So we know that Ryan Leung is I think they say they're primarily a shorts channel and haven't done any longs for 3 months. So we'll go straight to their short stuff. And I think from now we can't really critique the thumbnails because you don't have a choice with thumbnails at the moment. We have to look at, I guess, the general theme and the titles and try and work out if they've got a theme throughout these shorts. And I'm not really seeing a strong theme just yet.
Not at all.
It looks like that's a Jake Fellman short over there.
Well, is that?
Oh, maybe they're.
Oh, okay.
Well, I gave him credit. or Jake Fellman gave himself
Jake
credit.
left that there.
Yeah.
Still not sure what's going on in that.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So maybe it's a compilation of like some of the shorts they've seen that they like, because there's definitely a few different creators in there. And maybe that's why these shorts look a little bit random, right? They're finding stuff they like and they're clipping it together. We assume. We don't really know. It's hard to tell. The one thing that is for sure is that this channel does not seem to cater to any particular audience. Whether it's shorts, whether it's longs, I don't care what you're making. You should really be keeping, what I always say is, one viewer in mind and make it so that person feels like, I want to watch all of this creator's videos. Because if you can get just one of them, you can get more people like that. But what you don't want is somebody saying, I like this video, scrolling to your next one and going, I don't know where this one came from, only to find out later it is you again. It's just not something that's to their taste.
Yeah. Lack of audience focus is the downfall of many, many, many beginner and intermediate channels, and that's one of the things that everybody can really, really take that to heart. If there's one lesson that you take away from everything that we talking about in the streams, and I'm talking to the chat specifically here too, is focus on that target audience. Don't if you want to do random videos, just have fun on YouTube. Cool, but don't get mad if your stuff doesn't grow. So you can't have both. So if you want to start focusing in, you want a channel that's going to grow, then start making videos for a specific viewer.
There's something bizarre going on with this channel as well. I don't know what the cadence of these shorts are, because one frustrating thing that YouTube did do is remove the post date on shorts. So I don't know if these were all posted in the last 12 hours or in the last.
Let me get Renee Ritchie on the horn and make a file a complaint here.
Yeah, and I'll just say, please take a screenshot and send it to feedback, like I always do when I say. Have you got a direct line there, Jeff? Can we get him on the horn?
Let me get him on the horn here real quick. Hold on a sec here. Hello.
So, I find it unusual that these shorts would be getting almost no views whatsoever, like 5 views, 2 views. It's almost as if they're not being given a chance to breathe. There's this one outlier here that has 4,000 views. Again, I don't know if that's original content or not. So.
My guess is it's not, just because there's so many different faces to this content. And that's going to be an issue too, because YouTube may eventually crack down on this. The creators themselves may crack down on this, and you don't want enough of those black marks on your channel, because that's going to cause trouble.
I think even if a channel is a compilation channel, we can tend to get a vibe pretty early on, whether there's some transformational effort put into the compilations, and just on the face of it, we're not really seeing that, are we?
Yeah.
From what we can tell, we'd have to watch several shorts, and that's something that we would do tomorrow to try and ascertain that. So with those thoughts being said, let's move on to the next channel. It's going to be a gaming channel. 376.
Oh, is that not a gaming channel?
No, it wasn't, Dan. But it was so jumbled that I don't think, the problem was that it wasn't really a channel of anything, was it? It was it's trying to find its way in YouTube life, and it hasn't quite got there yet. The Duck Gamer, 169 subscribers, definitely a Minecraft channel. Some encouraging views here for the channel.
Yeah. So some pretty cool stuff. I'm really liking that a channel with less than 200 subscribers can post a video about Bed Wars of all things and get 600 views.
Yeah.
Bed Wars, but I can only use wool, which is pretty cool. So they've they've really like set themselves up like these different challenges. They're trying to do something that a lot of people are doing, but put these twists on it, which I like. But one bit of advice that I give a lot, especially in these particular cases that is being overlooked here, are the episode numbers that they're putting in their content. And specifically like Minecraft, but it's one block, number 8, upstairs finished. Okay, Minecraft, but it's one block sounds interesting. And I wish the thumbnail visualized that in some way. And I get that it's a multi-episodic series, and there's ways to do this. Like look at Ryan Trahan, Penny Crossing America series. But like the number 8 upstairs finished, and then the episode numbers in the thumbnails as well. It's too much. It's too much. Like, don't watch this content because you got to watch episode 1 first. And by the time you get to episode 10, 20, people are like, I'm not going to go back. So it's that thing that crosses their mind. Like, is this content for me? It looks like I need to be in this person's universe to be invited to watch episode 10. And that's what you want to avoid, in my opinion.
Would the easiest thing here to just put before and after?
Yes.
As a timeline, or then and now.
Yeah.
Past, present, future.
I like the concept of them splitting the thumbnail. I would get rid of the glow effect on the line because it's making it hard to see the two pictures. And I would get rid of the yellow text because it's almost unreadable. But the before and after is like a good tried and true thumbnail, especially in the Minecraft building space. And then what I would do is, if it is an episodic series and you do need people to follow it, that's fine. But give the new viewers a chance, right? So you do this really quick intro where you're like, in the last episode we did this, but now we're doing this. And you just give that little tiny plug to the last episode. And if people want to go back after they watch this episode, they totally can do that. But right now the content feels uninviting, and that's not great for building up that new viewership.
Could they make a video series on Bed Wars using just wool, not wool, or are there different variations of wool, Dan? Or like, how could you turn this into like a mini challenge series and be the master of wool?
Wool, like when they doubled down on that video, I think maybe they thought wool was the plug. I think it was using a certain item. So it was Bed Wars, but you have blank limitation. So it's not that you used wool. That's not why you got 3,000 views. It's that you limited yourself in some way. So what are other ways you can limit yourself? It could be Bed Wars, but now you can't use your mouse, things like that.
That would be a challenge. Let's go to the next channel, 649, another shorts channel here.
When I first heard that name, Bed Wars, it reminded me of my childhood growing up with siblings in shared rooms. Bed Wars has a whole different meaning for an 80s kid.
Right.
So
right.
I can explain it to everyone if you want. We can geek out.
Sorry, you just reminded. I don't know why you reminded me of this, but it wasn't Bed Wars, but it was Computer Wars for me. Does anybody remember the game Frontier Elite?
No.
So it's like a space exploration game, and both my brother and I loved it. So we had to ration out the times. So he would get the computer from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the morning to play on it, and I would get it from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night. But would have rows over it. Like he'd overrun, he'd go to like 4:30 p.m. or like I'd try and squeak in an hour before he was supposed to be playing it. And it was just so it was Computer Wars basically. I don't know why it reminded me of that, but it was just funny. Now, interesting thing here. This is the first time we are taking a handle URL.
Is it going to work?
And putting it in to our URLs, and it does work. All right,
nice.
So Annie M Nation, Heather, I would like you to kick off with this one.
Annie M Nation. So it's an animation channel, is what I'm seeing. Mermaid jokes. I am slightly confused. Storytelling, I'm guessing. Storytelling.
Should we look at
That's what I'm thinking.
Just look at the about section.
Animation channel, different stories. Okay, yeah. Illustration channel. Okay. Yep.
I think what we can tell is just from even though they can't customize their thumbnails, the animation style seems very unique but similar throughout the thumbnails. So you already think that this is their own original content. There's no confusion about that, which is what I like. So let's do mermaid joke, shall we?
See mermaid right now? because drawing legs is hard. Are you wondering why you see mermaid right now? Well, because drawing legs is hard.
Could anyone else hear that? I could barely hear that on my end.
Are you
Right.
wondering why you're seeing a mermaid right now? But then I didn't get the next part.
Okay.
Is that because of your computer, or is their audio?
I don't know. It sounded just very quiet. I think it was their audio, not mine.
Naming a kid. I can't really read it. What's
Naming
the one
a
that just
kid
got
meme.
2.5 thousand views? The newest one posted.
I want to name him James, but I'm sorry to inform you that the name is taken. You can have James 420,
All right. So yeah.
James 59, or Jim Please XXXX.
Okay.
That was a nice payoff on that one.
I like that.
So one thing that I think is really powerful is the ability to tell a story within 15 seconds. That's pretty powerful. I mean, and a lot of people can't figure that out. So congrats to this creator for being able to tell these short stories within that time frame. I would say this, for me, this is definitely an entertainment style channel. And so that means you're going to need to garnish a lot of views in order to be a part of the monetization for shorts. But I think this is cool because, you know, you're going to be able to look back 5 years, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and see where your art started. You can already see, I can see some improvement already in the newest ones versus some of the older ones. So congrats on that. And I would say this does feel like a lot of different kinds of stories. I don't know if there could be a storyline, if there could be, maybe instead of them being so different, maybe it's like all about mermaids, or I don't know. It doesn't have to be just that, but something that allows for someone to want to come back to this specific channel to watch specific types of videos.
Yeah.
Are you going to chime in there, Dan? Or
no, I completely agree, and I love this person's unique art style. I think that's really going to help set them apart. I like the idea of scrolling through shorts and seeing this unique animation and getting told a joke. You know, one critique I had of the latest video we watched, and this is not something that's like very fair of me to do. I was just thinking while I was watching it though, like it could be sped up just a little bit. You know, that was fair. One thing.
That's fair. Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I don't want to ruin your delivery or anything like that, but I think your delivery would have been okay. The only reason I bring it up is because we had that moment of confusion at the very beginning where we weren't sure what we were watching, and that's always the killer in shorts, right? So if you had gotten to that just a little bit faster, and I only critique the content itself because that's all you can do with shorts is look at the content itself and say, okay, why would maybe I would have scrolled away from this, and why would that have happened? And so that's the only thing. Like, is the delivery, and he's like the mermaid one too, we were kind of confused, and it seemed like you were building up to a punchline, but I think maybe it could just happen a little bit quicker, and that would help people like stay on the video.
Now, I just want to play one more of these videos.
Hello everyone, I will be your captain for today. Happy Halloween! Hello everyone.
So, I would say at this point, I don't feel as if the voice acting or whoever is doing the voiceovers matches up to the animations. I think the animation quality is better than the delivery of the script narration. So I think from a content improvement perspective, just getting more confident reading lines, having a bit more energy and pizzazz would be the content improvement for you to look at. Because, you know, you may not be able to afford to get professional voice artists to do the work. So I feel as if you're doing it yourself, and that needs just a little bit more work to bring it up to parity with the very colorful animations that you already have. So that's Annie M Nation. Unless anybody has further to add, we'll move on to another gaming channel, 156. We are going to look at Dream HQ. Okay. They have just started their YouTube journey, it looks like. October 12th. And to have 6,000 views already, that's an excellent start. You have
35 subs.
35 subs, 1 long form piece of content, 2 shorts. So I guess our immediate question is, because we're seeing Tommy in it on all of the thumbnails, are you reacting to Tommy in it? Is it transformational content or is it clips? I'm not sure if I want to click on these to find out.
Yeah, got to be real.
Highlights.
Yeah, got to be real careful with highlight channels because
Yep.
Heather, earlier you said it perfectly. Low barrier to entry because this is content that someone else worked really hard to make, and you've clipped it together in hopefully a unique way, hopefully a way that adds to the transformation of the content. When we say like fair use, right, which is a defense, you don't want to be in a position where you're having to argue for this. But if you want to fall in line with fair use, you need to transform this content in a significant way. So, like, is this 12-minute video? Is it? What are we thinking with this? Is it going to be a bunch of clips, or is it just a re-uploaded video?
Sure, yeah. I don't know if this is just the original video at this point, or whether he's edited this in such a way.
You can scroll down just a little bit.
Or she has.
Yeah, there was something in the description.
I mean, that's a telltale sign, isn't it?
They take on the game of quackery, hilarious, brings laughs. Yeah. Edited by me, totally unique, and Tommy allows unique versions of his streams. This is a stream highlight. So, okay, so what they're doing. Okay, so there's a lot to explain now. There's this like subculture out there that watches streamers, and they take it upon themselves to make clip channels, basically, quote unquote, for the streamers. And sometimes, in rare cases, that has actually gotten people like a job on the team of like the streamer.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Yeah, this is the act of doing something for free for well-known people to get your skills recognized. So it may not create a valuable channel, but it creates a valuable portfolio of your skills for
Yes, sir.
So it comes down to goals. And if you are here asking us to get more views, I imagine your goal is not to work necessarily for one of these creators. Maybe you wouldn't mind, but the goal is to take content that is honestly not yours, edit it in a different way, and then get your own views from it, regardless of what they think about it, what they're doing. And I just don't know if that's like a good strategy for long-term success. It's not for me to say necessarily, but you know, it is for them to say. It is for the creator of the original content to maybe decide whether or not they want you doing that. In some cases, YouTube themselves to decide whether or not they want you doing that. But it's really hard to advise because you're not putting enough of you into this content, and so it's hard for us to sit here and go, oh, well, here's what you need to do, because it's not really your stuff. It's hard to say. If your goal was to work for Tommy Innit, for example, then you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't really need us to like audit the channel.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on this concept, Heather.
I think you definitely are playing with fire when you take someone's content and it doesn't show enough. Like the fact, Rob, that we looked at it and I was like, shoot, did he just upload the same video or was that edited? I think that's where it kind of gets dicey. And I think that these types of channels, yeah, I agree with Dan. It comes down to your goal. That was a golden nugget right there, Dan. It comes down to your goal of what you're trying to accomplish. We have people that do this. They'll send us these types of clips. Do you guys have people do this to you also? They'll like send me clips, DMs on Instagram, and they'll take my content and they'll shrink it down, or they'll not really change it at all and upload it on their own channel. And, we have to go through all these types of things. So I would just say, as a creator that puts a lot of time and effort into content, sometimes it's not my most favorite thing to have that happen as a content creator.
I don't like it. I think some creators are fine with it. I don't think it's cool. I think I would prefer them to ask first, and then give me the reason as to why they feel it's needed. Like, why do you feel this is valuable? But it happens. There's nothing. I'm not going to do anything about it. YouTube's going to do something about it. They tend to suppress those videos when people re-upload my stuff. So I'm not super worried about it. But that's what I'd be worried about if I was this creator. Is this even going to reach people? Like, it was made somewhere else first by somebody else.
Mm-hmm. But there is the argument here that it sounds like, and Dan, you alluded to this, where it's actually like a cultural thing in the gaming space where skilled editors will take content and make something new and original out of it. And maybe this is the route they're going down.
And that's totally different. That's totally cool. I just, again, I kind of wonder what would they want vidIQ, like us during this live stream, to like tell them, because they've only done one long form video and a couple shorts. So it doesn't, that's the advice we would give anyone with this amount of content is we can't really help you until you make more content. But we got really hung up on the the idea that it's definitely not their content. Yeah. So maybe the edit we're seeing, let's say this was a live stream, right? So there was no editing during the live stream. Great editing. Like really good skill set there. I think the text popping up on the screen, the music, that everything was like on point. That's fantastic. So you got to do it more. The nice advice I can give you is do more content. The more mean advice I can give, I think some people perceive this as being mean. Is what are you doing? But I don't fully know their goals. I don't know where they come from. I don't know what they're doing.
So the interesting little side story I very quickly wanted to introduce here is this video from 6 years ago that only has 4,400 views. This video got me a job with vidIQ to where I am today. And it was basically just a very simple tutorial saying I'm a creator and I found this way to copy tags very easily when tags were important. Made this 60-second video, shared a tweet to Twitter, to vidIQ on Twitter. And within 24 hours, the CEO of vidIQ had contacted me, and the rest is history, so to speak. I started doing freelance work and then a full-time career. So that's what I was meaning by you do stuff that's relevant to your audience, but also kind of catches the attention of either like a big creator, or in this case, an industry presence. And it can lead to amazing things. But as you say, I think rightly, you, Dan and Heather, what is your goal for that channel? If it's to try and make ad revenue, affiliate sales, merchandise, that might be a little bit more of a struggle. But if you're wanting to get known, it is correct. I do not, this has been a myth for many, many years. I do not own vidIQ. I do not develop the software. I do not answer all of the customer questions. Although some people, I think, believe that to be the case. Make of that what you will. Shall we pick another channel?
Oh, sure.
Yes, let's pick another channel. That must have been a gaming channel, right? If it was the editing of Tommy and it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
anything else. So 414. And we're going to do Lisa Travels. I think I pronounced that correctly. And I'll start with Jeff. And Jeff, if you want to then move on to Heather for her thoughts. What are we looking at here?
Let's see. All right. So I'm not sure if it's Alyssa or Elisa. I'm not sure how she pronounces it. So my apologies if I mispronounce your name. So Elisa Travels and Vlogs. Okay, cool. Autumn Vibe, Forest Walk, Epic Vlog, Job Interview, Visiting Friends, Family Time. So it still seems a bit random. Even though they're saying travels and vlogs, content wise, like let's say theoretically I was somebody who's big on traveling. I would not be interested in stories about job interviews or, things of that nature. So there's some things where this could be a catch-all channel for them, or maybe they're just not exactly sure how they want to do it, or they want to put everything on one channel. Lack of focus is going to be a big stopping point here. So I would really take a step back and start thinking about what your goals are for the channel. What exactly it is that you want to get out of it, whether it's build a business, whatever the goal might be. And then that way, once you know what that is, you can start moving in that direction. So that's probably going to be the biggest piece of advice I can give you, because if you want this to start moving forward, to take off, to start going there, just like I've said earlier in the stream, focusing on a specific type of content that aims at a specific type of viewer to get them to come back, because that's the key. You want to get you want your channel to be in a viewer's watch history, multiple entries if possible. So if you can start focusing on that, but like I said, first things first, take a step back, figure out what your goal is for the channel, and then we can start talking about which direction you want to go.
Heather?
Yeah, just on that, I think there's a couple things already that I see that are standing out as kind of different types of content. So you're doing dog style content.
Yeah.
One thing that you can see clearly that got really good views was why we left Russia. So I know a little bit about you now. I know that well, I'm assuming actually just from that title and story of one family, I'm assuming you left Russia. That's what I'm assuming. So maybe it's a story, it could be vlog style about now where you are, what you're doing, those types of things. But kind of piggybacking on what Jeff said, this to me is just a lack of focus. And I would say also consistently you're uploading content. Now it's just trying to dive into who is your content for and how is your content serving that audience. And once you have that, then we can start, like you said, Jeff, going better. But I would also titles like epic vlog don't actually say anything to me. I don't that to me is just, that is not a title that will entice anyone to want to click because of what? Like, okay, epic vlog to you. And so there's a difference between, and this is fine. If you want to create what I call selfish style content, which means it's content that I'm making for me because I want to document my life and I want to hold on to these memories. That is that. Or are you making service style content, meaning you're serving an audience, whether that be entertainment, education, information? How are you serving an audience and what story are you telling? How does that line into the content that you're creating? So, so it's deciding on those few things. And I would say this is still a newer creator, right? Like we scroll down, it's not, there's not too many videos. So I feel like right now you're in that great experimental phase. But now it's time to get serious. No better time to get serious than right now. So figuring out what your channel is about and who it's for. You can change the name. If you're like, I actually don't want to do a travel channel, just change the name. And then you can go my life after Russia or, something like that. If you want to change that. So those are my pieces. What do you guys think about emojis in titles? This is a lot of emojis.
I use them.
Yeah, I've used them much to the chagrin of our creative producer who hates them, but I've managed to sneak some in once or twice.
I use them to tell a story or to illustrate something. But here's the interesting part about using emojis in titles. If you, let's say my video lands as the first search result on Google, somebody types in a keyword for the product, the title will not show the emoji.
Right.
It doesn't show there. Only on YouTube does it show.
Sorry.
Which is kind of a trip. And I was like, wait, what? So I read my title. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I started noticing that a while back. So kind of interesting. It totally just removes it from the play when it comes to Google search. But on YouTube, I think it can help tell the story to kind of help illustrate things.
It looks like that, Jeff, sometimes.
Yeah, that's really weird. I don't understand what that square is about. Maybe it's maybe they typed in an emoji that doesn't work as on a title. But yeah.
Sorry, Heather. I thought it was referring to emojis in thumbnails. I've never used them in titles myself.
Yeah.
I've done both. And in thumbnails, it's worked really well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we've done them. We've done them in both. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We used to put the red dot every time we went live before YouTube would say you were live. Remember that? We used to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But that's changed now. YouTube has changed.
I'm with you on
Tish says emojis are life. Thanks, Tish. Tish in the comments.
I'm with you here, Heather. We identified perhaps the very beginnings of a through line here. Like, this could have turned into a channel about a Russian couple and their experiences in a new country, and the next video follows up on that 6 months after relocation. Okay, the views are pretty okay, and then we're into busy weekend blog. Dog ate our laptop. If there's not a dog eating a laptop in the first 5 seconds of this video, I'm disappointed.
Nope.
I'm disappointed. But what I'm thinking, like, I'm thinking about making this video soon, which the concept is give the viewer what they want in the title and their thumbnail, and then deliver what they need in the content. And so I almost feel as if you could repackage these videos with the idea of you could compare Russian landscape and scenery to where you live now, and that's how you could package the video. But then the actual video itself could be a blog.
Uh-oh. We lost. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Okay.
Did you lose me?
For a
you went
second.
Frozone for a second.
Oh, sorry. What was I saying then? Where did you get to?
Repackaging.
Yeah.
So yeah, repackaging each of these videos so that they have a little more of a concept of comparing your life where you were before and where you are now.
Yeah. I remember maybe it was about 5 years ago when Dude Perfect was really just getting started. They were the kings at this. I mean, whatever was in the title and in the thumbnail, it punched you in the face over and over and over at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think it's really what allowed their channel to just go crazy viral, was because they showed it to you right away. And I think more creators doing that. And you know, what's hard as a creator, I will give this creator some slack. What is hard as a creator is you do want to share everything about your life. I want to share everything about my life, but it doesn't serve the audience. And so if we're just remembering that if you are trying to make a YouTube channel, this is the distinguishing thing that Jeff said. What's your goal? Or maybe it was Dan. I don't remember who said that. What's your goal?
We all say that.
We all say it all the time, because if it is just to make content that you want to have for your life to remember and show your kids one day, totally fine. But if your goal is I want to be a travel vlogging couple that makes money on the road, well, then you have to sacrifice a lot of the decisions of wanting to make things because you're not actually serving the right audience. So I think those are some things that if you're watching right now in the comments, that's for everyone. That's advice for everyone of just what is your channel actually, who is it actually for? I want to start an RV channel because I love RVing so much. That would not do well on Think Media. It just wouldn't, because
Have you tried it?
I mean, not yet, Dan, except I will say I did do a short that talked about my mobile setup. That did get views because it was my mobile setup in the RV. But yeah, but I think it's figuring out, are you just making content to make content isn't actually the best thing. Making content that serves the audience is the best thing.
Yeah. Yep. 100% agree.
I have.
You like my rant, Dan? You like my rant?
I like that rant. Yes.
I have amazing news. Our live stream is now perfectly balanced.
Wow.
Please don't do anything to interrupt.
You need that picture of Thanos holding that knife.
Dear.
All things in balance.
Yeah. Now let's wipe out half of the population. Right, 274. His motives were pure. See what I was doing there?
Purely destructive.
Yeah. I could understand. That's why you gotta have like a bit of an understanding of a villain. Like if you understand their motives, then they become a better villain. And he was a good villain. So we're looking at Exceler here, just over 1,000 subscribers, and they are jumping from video to video. But interestingly, Dan, when they do that, they're still managing to maintain viewer count on some of these, which is interesting.
Yeah.
They have like a stream of UFC content. Then I went to Fortnite, but the views continue to climb. That's encouraging.
Looks like they're doing some memes, taking jabs at people. And that could be the through line to the content, right? You can, it kind of gives you that license to play different games and do different things, because it's not really about the game or anything. It's always about, trolling people. It just happens to be in Grand Theft Auto. Like, people like the style that you're bringing to the chaos that is your content. This is a good example, perhaps, from because we talk about a lot of gaming channels, and a lot of the really easy advice we can give is like, why don't you just try one game for a bit? Why don't you just stick to one thing to help attract that right viewer? But there are other ways to attract one type of viewer. You're trying to get somebody who appreciates this meme style content. So the game you're playing becomes less relevant. Yeah. So that's, that could be what's going on here. I don't know. We haven't clicked into the content. I don't know how dramatically different it is video from video, but judging by the thumbnails and stuff, it does look like there's some consistency in that they're not taking things seriously.
Maybe missing some opportunities with thumbnails here. Like, I know this video got 1,000 views and this one got 1,000 views, but could they have got significantly more views with a thumbnail where I could actually see the image there, unless it's kind of hidden on purpose, or this was zoomed in a little more because I can't really see what's going on in that video either. So, I mean, there are some thumbnails where you do put more effort in. The text could be a little better here, and maybe the tier list could be a little more zoomed in.
What's the engagement like on this content?
Okay, well, I'll click on this one, but I'll pause it immediately. Well, it's running in mute. At 0, 71 likes. Just check another one. 1 comment. We'd usually expect a little more than that, wouldn't we? And that's their own comment, but 91 likes.
Yeah, so it could be getting shared on other platforms.
Yeah,
which nothing necessarily wrong with that. But whether or not they intended this, like let's say they're really good at sharing it on Facebook or something like that, and they're getting 1,000 views every time they do. I still would like to see the content getting views from YouTube itself. And in order to do that, it does come down to that one viewer. So, but if you're doing this content and you're making people laugh and you have these jokes, it's a matter of just better honing in. Okay, like what kind of sense of humor, what kind of sense of humor would somebody need to appreciate these jokes? And if in that sense, also, what are some of the games that person would play the most? Like it doesn't have to be the same one over and over, but what are UFC and Fortnite, like couldn't be farther apart. So I'd be thinking about stuff like that. Like maybe there's a selection of games I could do that would appeal to that one type of person. I can use it as a platform to create my funny jokes.
Okay, what I need to do is quickly load up this channel and remember just the claw, because we are not including every channel here, so I'm just going to make sure that we pick all channels next time. Ryan Morris, another very new YouTuber. You've been on YouTube for exactly 7 days, it looks like here. Is that correct? Wow, welcome to YouTube. Yeah. So, you've been on YouTube for a week. You've already got more than 100 views. You've already got more than 10 subscribers. I think, and if this is correct, you did this the right way. You actually released 4 videos, possibly all at the same time, so that if somebody enjoyed your first piece of content, they didn't have to wait for you to release something else. They were able to watch something immediately. And that is a good strategy for your launch of channel. We don't typically recommend you launch videos at the same time once you have a catalog of videos, but for your first launch, doing 2 or 3 videos is a good strategy, and it seems to work well here because you're getting views already into double figures. One video with already 100 views. That's all very encouraging. I guess the next question is, what's the channel about?
It looks like challenges. They seem to be in college, perhaps. They're on campus a lot. So I like all the different things I'm seeing here. I would say this content is consistent in that they are doing challenges with one another. It seems like they got a good group of people. I think it's going to be down to titles and thumbnails, really. I think that's right now they're holding them back.
So I've just started this video. I'm thinking, you've got to give us the stakes and the challenge right off the bat here. When are you two going to actually get handcuffs? Okay, so you should probably start with this, like a little bit of tense music. That's where I would have started the video. Not with the interlude. Anyway, so Dan, you're thinking like the thumbnail and the titles. I think the execution is already decent.
Yes.
Fairly simple thumbnails, a little bit of text used where necessary. A good start.
Yeah, I do think that there is, in terms of the video production quality, it wasn't, yes, I agree that the intro could have been even more interesting, like we saw with the handcuffs. But so here's the thing. So an arrow pointing at handcuffs that says 24 hours is almost perfect. The only problem is that the handcuffs are still almost impossible to see. I think the 2 people in the thumbnail should have had their arms right up to the lens, basically, and had their faces in the background almost not there, blurred out. And then the latest video, his first time ever. And I see the person it looks like you're referring to, but first time doing what? The title doesn't necessarily have to say, but if the title's not going to say, the thumbnail should definitely give you some kind of clue, something that's going to make you go, oh, okay, that, first time skydiving, that looks extreme. So we're just not really getting anything from the title or the thumbnail, which is going to hold that video back.
Heather, Jeff, I'd love your additional thoughts if you have any, as I just sort of scout around the channel.
For me, it feels like this isn't their first channel.
Interesting.
You get what I'm saying? Like they've messed around on YouTube before with some other channels possibly, and maybe they're launching this one with a bit more experience because the thumbnails don't look amateur. The content, the title doesn't look amateur. It looks like somebody who either one has been studying the game for a while, or this is not the first channel. And I've seen this multiple times. You know, I've had people that, you know, I've talked to, like, they got 300,000 subscribers in a year, you know, and I'm like, so how many channels did you have before this one? They're like, oh, 5. I'm like, all right, cool. Then, yeah, because they hit the ground running. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. So I have high hopes for this.
I have nothing else to contribute. You guys are amazing critiquers.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, Jeff, you know what it was for me that made me think, yeah, this is probably not my first channel. I know this sounds really simple, but when you actually think about it, this scene is actually probably quite hard to film because somebody's got to hold the camera.
Yeah.
And then they've got to pan up at the right time to capture the moment where to capture it. You don't just do that off a cuff, do you? That requires a little bit of planning. And you don't do that as like your 4th video on YouTube.
That's funny content.
Their friend looks miserable.
He does. By the way, I managed to successfully troll you all. Now we have far more likes and views, which is exactly what I wanted.
Can we get it to 1,000 though?
Well, probably not now, Dan. Because
come on,
they'll probably dislike now. Since
with that attitude, we'll never hit
maybe.
1,000 likes.
255 is the gaming channel. We're going to
1,000 likes will out of 1,000 channels. Eventually, over the course of many live streams.
Hey, you can take care of that, Dan. I mean, literally. Tornado17.
Fortnite channel. I like the thumbnails. Seems to be an evolution there too.
Some of them are
yeah.
Good. Some of them are a bit screenshotty.
Yeah, some are a bit basic, but there's some effort here. So this is an example of like titles and thumbnails that are of a very popular game. You know, so you're competing in a very popular space. The game's free, by the way, talking about barriers to entry. So that's kind of working against you. And then we're not getting much description in the titles and thumbnails. We just don't know why we'd watch these videos, what we're going to get out of them. A friend when you need one. Thumbnail that says Fortnite on it. Like, you know, how could you have communicated what's going on in that video a little more clearly so that people can get the idea? If people have to think when they're finding this content around YouTube, they're not going to. They're going to keep scrolling. And that's the problem. You have to avoid people thinking at all costs. You need to do all that work for them. That's what the title and thumbnail is for.
Wait, which one was that, friend, when you need one?
The top middle-ish.
Oh, right, I see. So what would you say to this thumbnail then? Do you think this one's more effective, like Deadly Sniper, count the kills?
Yes, I do. And they got 300 views, you know, which is much higher than what they were getting in a lot of other videos. So count the kills, Deadly Sniper. Like, I know exactly what I'm getting. It's someone's going to snipe people, and they're going to do it a lot, you know. So it's impressive, and now I want to watch.
What I want to credit the creator with here is that usually we credit somebody when they're starting off with basic thumbnails, which are clearly message, and this creator does that. And I know the titles are fairly basic, but there is some thought that's going into the titles, and they're very quick and easy to read. They almost feel like shorts titles.
Yes,
if you know what I mean. So I think they're going from a promising starting point where they could just maybe add a little bit of curiosity to the titles and the thumbnails, and that would take them a significant step forward.
Yeah. This is a really, really good start. I don't want my critiques to make it sound like I don't appreciate that at all. I do. It's just that you gotta really put yourself in the viewer's shoes every single time you upload a video. Will they get what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. When I clicked on this, I was hoping for maybe some introduction as to what the goal was, like how many sniper kills are you trying to achieve, or like a climactic moment, but it just seems to throw you into the game, and I'm not seeing any specific sniping going on here as well. So is the video strictly delivering on what was promised in the title and the thumbnail? That's from a content perspective.
Right.
And shorts wise, it looks as if they haven't really done anything with shorts. It's mostly long form contents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on to another non-gaming channel. And 572 is the channel. And I would like, Heather, for you to introduce us to this channel, and then maybe Jeff can add his thoughts following. So what have we got here?
Yes, a fishing channel. This makes me so happy. I love outdoor channels because there's so much content you could create in this field. And one of the reasons why I love this channel, when we talk about like choosing your niche or choosing what your content should be about, this is a very high profit niche because it comes with a cult-like following, right? Like that, like if you're into fishing, you go all in. You're the guy that buys all the fishing rods and all the reels, whether you're good at it or not, right? Like you become like a fisherman. And I think any of these outdoorsy type channels really have a good chance of succeeding because one, there's a couple things. There's magazines around this, which means there's money in this. There's TV shows around this, which means there's money in this. So I automatically I'm like, yes, because there's all these products and all these things that are a part of this. And what I recommend for channels like this is to actually, if you're not already subscribed to like the top 3 magazines in your space, go get them. And the reason for that is because those companies will spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to write the best articles, to go into those, like there's things on the chopping block. They make sure the titles are great. They're talking about the best thing. Like you literally can take what's in the magazine and apply it to YouTube. And that is a tactic that can really, really win when it comes to that. This, I love that they're already doing gear. I would say that the green, this again, Jeff, as we're going into, we're talking about the motorcycle, this is doing the same thing. Like feeder storage is literally on top of the actual product. I cannot see the product for what that is. So I would say we have some work to do on the thumbnails.
I have a counter argument to that.
Oh, okay.
Just
Rob.
imagine if all of the thumbnails were in that style.
Yes.
I feel that would create an incredible sense of branding.
Yes.
And I know like the text is in front of a product, but if like every thumbnail looks similar, I would almost forgive them for that. But that's just a counter thought or argument. I think it's because they're different, Heather. Like they've purposely pulled all of the color out of the thumbnail for the product and then added something like fluorescent green so it really sticks out. So I thought that was interesting and intriguing.
Yeah, I definitely saw that. So I was going to say, I'm not a huge fan of if you're doing a product, making the product not the main thing. But I see what you're saying. To me, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense of what you're saying. If it's a branding play, what are some of the ones that are getting the most views? Are you seeing, Rob? What was that most popular?
Let's have a look. Stuff from a very long time ago. This is all like 5 years, 9 years plus.
Yeah,
I did notice actually the cadence was a little funny in let's just go to the most recent. They haven't posted much in the last 6 months.
So we got to get back out there, right?
Yeah.
And for channels like this too, this is a channel where I see this a lot in the outdoor space, a lot in the DIY space, and a lot in the crafting space. They're like, well, or travel space, really. I have to go and do a thing in order to make a video. It takes me a long time to make a video.
Sure.
And I think, well, if you're going to go out there, you should think about the 4 videos you should be making, not just the 1 video. And that's how you end up increasing the amount of uploads, and you don't have to go fishing every single week if you don't want to, because you could be doing 2 product reviews out there. You could be doing a, sit with me and fish, whatever the other ones are. But I geek out on these types of channels because there's so much opportunity for you to do your hobby as your job. That is what this can become.
Jeff, anything to add there?
I think, well, for what they're doing here, I think there's kind of a missed opportunity for some listicles if they haven't done them already, for sure. So that's something that is always super helpful to people that are looking at this stuff because they're talking about products, right? The feeder bag, carry-all, tackle, like this sort of stuff, right? All right, cool. What's the best? What do you recommend? What if I'm just now thinking about suddenly becoming a fisherman? What are the 5 things that I need to make sure that I have before I take my butt out there and try to fish, right? I mean, I'm assuming a fishing pole might be one of those things and bait and things of that nature, but I don't know. I don't know. And this is me being completely honest. I don't fish, so I don't know. Those are the kind of things that could be extremely helpful, both one, at getting you views, two, because you're now taking people on a journey of how to even start doing this, and three, it can be lucrative for you in the long run by using affiliate links.
I was trying to figure out if that is an affiliate link, but I just can't tell.
I don't think it is. Another hack too, Jeff, for what you were just saying. I think people miss out on these types of opportunities. I used to work in corporate America way back in the day, and we would decide what products were going to be in our like holiday gift guides and those types of things back in like September. And so, and then we start releasing those. You could already be thinking of like 3 beginner rods under $100. Like
lovely
that right
Wow.
there.
Yeah.
You could make something like that. And Jeff doesn't know the difference of the rod that he would need depending on the type of fish he wants to catch. He doesn't know that yet. And so you've got to educate them. And what people do is they're teaching for their peers, not for the people that are coming up behind them. And so you not knowing what the difference between the fishing rods are, Jeff, is an opportunity for this content creator to educate while they're also sharing the different 4 rods that you can purchase. Sign up for a Bass Pro Shop or a Cabela's or an Amazon or a Walmart, any of those affiliates, because I'm telling you, from someone who lives with a fisherman, they buy this stuff online like candy. So you definitely have an opportunity, because this market also, this is why I love outdoors markets. This market also is one of the largest income markets because they're usually over the age of 35 in these types of markets. They have disposable income to buy all the things that they couldn't have when they were younger. So there's so many things about these types of markets where I'm like, if you have a skill in this space, go all in, because there's so much money in this market for people to create businesses. That's not really a channel audit, Rob. That's more of a niche audit.
Yeah.
So.
And finally, worst channel avatar ever.
Oh man.
Yeah, let's
and
fix
actually
that.
the whole name of the channel,
It's a bit long.
all tackled up fishing TV course and match fish. Like, you don't need all that. You can make it something. Actually, this is a brandable
All tackled, yep.
thing.
All
That's
All
it.
tackled up.
All
Exactly.
tackled up,
Yep. And then I would make shirts about it, and I would I get excited about these kind of channels.
The KISS rule applies heavily when it comes to YouTube channels, and it's just keep it simple. Keep it simple, as easy as you can make it. Explain it to me like I'm 5, and it'll usually be much more catchy. If you can make a rhyme, even better.
Appropriate sound effects, please, Dan.
Was that the one you wanted, or
Not appropriate.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
that's
Celebrated it. Yay. 1,000. Rob, how do you do that? We can never do that. How do you do that?
he bags and bags?
by manipulating the audience throughout. All right, let's see if we can get another channel audited here. We've got a little bit more time. Gaming channel 722. Audit a channel called, I think, Gamer. Nope, that's the wrong link. Sorry. that was the link I copied before. Let's try that again. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there are affiliate links if it just linked to that with no fancy coding in it. Yeah, we need to sort some affiliate links. Gamer77H Pro.
That's a name I'll forget quickly.
Yeah, that's going to be our first critique, actually, is it's time to think of a unique name. We got YouTube handles coming, and that handle should be a reminder to everybody that your branding is important on YouTube, and now more than ever because people are going to be using it to find you. So at GamerPro77, nope, that's not it. Gamer77Pro, oh, there's a random H in there. I forgot. Now I can't find them.
Thumbnails look as if they are screenshots. Probably, I'd argue, not even custom thumbnails.
I think YouTube did its best with the video uploaded. I don't think those are custom thumbnails.
Yeah.
Personally. We're playing a lot of different games. 7 Days to Die, Fallout 4, Grand Theft Auto, GTA 5 again. You saw some Minecraft earlier. So a lot of things going on. I like all these games. I'm playing them anyway. Might as well hit record and post them on YouTube. And one thing took off. We got 1.3K views on something. If you scroll
Which
up
was that?
again,
Which
just
was
scroll up
that?
a little more.
No,
There it is. I mortared the top of the Trinity Tower by accident.
You see, I think the titles here, Dan, some of them are actually quite curious. Why you don't kill low levels in GTA Online. Another one, like I mortared the top of the Trinity Tower by accident.
Yeah.
I think there's thought actually going into the titles, and they
Yeah.
just need to stack more reasons to click on top of a title.
So the Trinity one is a good example of what we're talking about because that one has a relevant thumbnail. The tower is on fire, like there's smoke coming out of it. So that was like a thing that happened relevant to the title. So you have to continue doing that with your thumbnails, which means it's time to learn how to make custom thumbnails. And that alone is going to make a big difference. But yeah, you're right. Now that I'm looking at the views, I was focused on all the different games and didn't seem like they were going anywhere in particular. But you know what? Like there's actually some good views here on the popular section. We're seeing some pretty decent views.
There is
so you seem to have titles down. You seem to be doing things in these games that is of interest to people, which is great. But we're missing huge opportunities with the thumbnails, the lack thereof.
All right, so that is Gamer77H Pro, as we say. I'll try and ask you to remember what that gaming channel name was in 5 minutes. See if you remember.
We don't have 5 minutes, sir.
Well, yeah, we are coming to the close of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have finally done it. Dr. Savage has done it. I am mere days away from the final cancellation of Rob Wilson from vidIQ. I promised it weeks ago, and I told you never doubt the Savage Man. The Doctor of Savagery has done it. And in 1 week, on this very live stream, I will come back and cancel Rob Wilson for good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cancel him so hard. It's going to be great. So make sure you're here. Hit that subscribe button. Because next week, I get rid of Rob Wilson once and for all.
Stop. Not happening. Dan, tell me this isn't happening.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
My goodness.
Rob's face was the epitome of the eyeball emojis.
I guess you'll have to tune in next week for that. Yeah. I'm a little lost for words. Dan, can you do the outro for me?
Oh, sure. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. Heather, where can people find you?
You can find me over at Think Media or Think Media podcast channel.
You can't cancel.
Well, thank you, Heather. I appreciate your time. You were the best auditor. I'm going to give you the Auditor VIP award, which I just made up. There is no plaque for it. You just get the plaque for coming on for 10 times. But yeah, we appreciate you. I don't have the controls handy. Actually, I have a couple. No, I can do this. All right, Jeff, any last words?
You can't find.
Nah, man, I'm good.
I'm not going to.
All right. All right. Well, see everybody later.
Not a chance.